Well, now, as a former occupant of 10 Downing Street, Cherie Blair knows more than most how high-profile women in politics are subjected to abuse. But when I spoke to her recently, she was also keen to highlight how women in business could help their companies grow with the use of AI. Cherie Blair, are female entrepreneurs using AI in the right way, or is there still a kind of digital divide on gender?
Well, it's a mixed picture, in fact, Kathy, and that's what our research shows. Because are female entrepreneurs using AI? Absolutely they are. We did a survey on the same subject a year ago, and in the whole year, then we found 38% of the 3,000 odd women we were surveying were using AI. It surged. It's now 82%. In a whole year, basically, women are absolutely engaging with AI. But the benefits of that are very uneven. So we're seeing that women are using AI, but they're using it in their business for the sort of customer-facing matters, to save time, whether it's marketing or admin. But time is precious. But those functions don't necessarily get embedded in the business growth. Because really, AI makes difference to business growth if it's embedded in the engine of the business.
And it was interesting because recently the actor Reese Witherspoon got a bit of stick when she said, you know, women have got to learn AI, as she put it, and she was accused of putting the burden on women. But do you agree with her that really it's, you know, we've all got to get our heads around this new world, otherwise you're going to miss out?
Well, I think it's absolutely the case that we must make sure that everybody gets a fair chance to use AI, and that so that people don't lose out. And one of the problems I think our research has identified is that if we're not careful, we can actually be embedding already the disadvantages that some women have compared to men, and all women have compared to men, or some women have compared to other women. So those women, if you like, who have the time or have the education to be able to actually use it in these back office functions are getting the growth.
I just wonder whether you think that women are justified in their scepticism of AI, perhaps initially, you know, perhaps people are changing their views now, but when you look at what happened with Grok, for example, and, you know, nudification apps and so on, you know, you could understand why a lot of women, whether they're entrepreneurs or business people or just, you know, women everywhere, would think, well, I don't think I want to have much to do with this.
Well, you're absolutely right, because this is one of the other issues we've found. So women don't have enough time. Women don't necessarily have the training. There's a cost of AI. And it's not just, even when you have free tools, there's still the cost in relation to your mobile data or the cost of your handsets. All these things are still costs. And women are rightly distrustful of AI precisely because of some of the things that you've just spoken about. And you know, we need to do more about that. We need to make sure that AI and the industry in general is designed around women, to make sure there are more women in the industry, and also to make sure that the industry is designing products that actually meet women where they are.
We've seen governments, regulators starting to flex their muscles in this whole area, particularly in the UK. We've just had a law receive royal assent to ban nudification apps, for example. But the regulator, the watchdog Ofcom, has been criticised for being too slow to take action, you know, when it comes to abuse of women in the online space, in the AI space. Do you have any faith that regulators will get a grip in the UK, particularly when a lot of the players in this area are outside the UK? It's hard to ensure that justice is done.
Well, I definitely think if we don't try to make sure there's a level playing field and a place where basic decency exists, then we cannot give up on that for sure. But on you know, the other hand, of course, you're right. The government can't do everything, but we all have a responsibility, really, about how we behave to each other, whether it's in the real world, and we've seen that very vividly over the last few days, but also in the virtual world. And it's time that we started to think about how do we behave in the virtual world? How are we treating each other? Are we being respectful?
And, well, when you say that and when you talk about that, you know, you originally wanted a political career. You've seen women, you know, obviously you know a lot of women in the Labour Party and seen what they have to go through, what the abuse they have to suffer in the online world. Do you think it is putting women off entering politics, all of that?
Well, what you have identified about the abuse that our women politicians suffer is absolutely true. And though at the moment we've got more women in Parliament than we ever had before, also at the last Parliament, remember, more women left than men precisely because of the kind of abuse and personal harassment that they were suffering from. And the interesting thing is we find this echoed in the women entrepreneurs that we work with, where they find that they can often be put off using tools on the internet because by doing so they are exposing themselves not just to business customers but to people who are using the fact that they're putting themselves out there for business as thinking that they're putting themselves out there for availability. So we find again when we ask the women entrepreneurs, yes, over 70% of them have suffered some kind of sexual harassment or abusive behaviour on their business sites.